Hello everybody, it's Wendy and today I have for you a tutorial on the flat spiral stitch bracelet. So I have a couple examples here. This is one that I've done with some rose gold and copper colored beads, a toggle, and this one has a little set of earrings with it. That's the same exact stitch, just in earring form. And then this one is a turquoise with some clear AB bicones on the side. So those are a couple color combos. Today I'm going to be using some white pearls and some AB bicones and some like a silver lined, I don't know what color this is. It's like a really light blue kind of I don't know, silver lined seed bead. So these are just ones that I got like at, I don't even know where they came from, somewhere like Walmart or something, and they're cheapo ones, but they'll work fine for this project. So if you're interested in making this project, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a 6mm bead of some sort. You can use a bicone, you can use a pearl, you can use a rondelle, you can do pretty much anything you want in this bracelet. Now you can actually use bigger beads, but if you use bigger beads or smaller beads, you will need to adjust the amount of seed beads. If you can see here, see these wrap around every two beads has one wrapped on each side, so you would have to adjust the amount of beads that you wrap with if your beads are bigger or smaller. So just keep that in mind. These are 4mm bicones, and then these are size 11 or size 12. They're basically the same seed beads. Okay, so you're going to need a length of bead stringing wire. This is 49 strand, like just regular old tiger tail. You're going to need a little piece of chain for your extender. You're going to need a lobster claw. You're going to need a little ring for your lobster to hook onto. You're going to need 2 crimp beads, 2 crimp bead covers, and a head pin in your choice of whatever style tools you use. Like, you know, I'm using bent nose pliers here. Alright, so let's get started. So this is quick and easy. It really is not hard at all. But let me move a couple of these things out of the way. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your bead stringing wire and we're going to put the clasp on. So you want to take your crimp, put it on your wire, take a bicone, put it on there, and then take either your lobster or your ring, one or the other, and put that on behind your bicone. So this is what you'll have on your wire. Okay, you're going to take your wire, loop it around, and go back through your bicone and back through your crimp. And when you pull it up tight, you don't want to pull it too tight, but you know, pull it tight enough to where it's up there, but there will need to be a little bit of movement there with your lobster. This is what you'll have. So you've got both wires coming out of your crimp and your bicone and your lobster looping through. Okay, then you're going to take, now if you have crimping pliers, that's wonderful. I do have crimping pliers, but I've never figured out how to use them right. I don't really care for them. So yeah, I don't use them. I use just regular old chain nose pliers, and just go ahead and crimp your crimp closed and just smash it really good. Make sure that it is very tight. Okay, and then give it a little tug and it's good. So this is what you should have at this point. Okay, now take your crimp bead cover and go ahead. These are always a little fiddly. I take them and put them right inside my plier, hold them like that in my plier, and this never works on the first time, so I'll probably drop it 3 or 4 times, just so you know. But it goes right over the crimp, and then you close it. Wow, it worked. Okay. That's a miracle, seriously. It never works for me like that. Okay, so there we go. So this is what you have for the end of your bracelet. Now, what you're going to do next is you are going to string on all of your beads or pearls, whatever you have, in the length that you want your bracelet to be. So I don't even know how many pearls it would take for me to make this. Obviously I counted them on the other ones, but it's been a while since I've made this, and so I'm totally not sure. So I'm just going to put some on, and then we're going to measure. And since I'm putting an extender on it, I'm not extremely worried about making sure that I get it, the exact length, because when you have an extender on it, you can obviously make it a little bit longer, but I definitely don't want it to be too long. So yeah, we'll do that here in a second. We'll measure. So I'm just stringing on my beads like this. String them on. These beads, these pearls, I actually got from Budget Bead Box. She has gorgeous, gorgeous pearls. They are fantastic colors. Just a lot of variety, a lot of different sizes. She's got 6mm, 4mm. I believe she's even got some 8mm. And the colors are stunning, and the quality is great. So, Budget Bead Box, guys, I'm telling you, it's the best place. It's awesome. There we go. I'm just continuing to string them on. Okay, I'm going to put 3 more, and then I'm going to measure this. So this looks pretty short to me, but you've got to figure in you're going to have another probably 1.5 inches when you put your other end of your clasp on. So where is my ruler? Oh, it's like this all the time in here. I swear, I try so hard to be so organized, and then I come out and I can't find things. I mean, the ruler should be right there. Who knows? Okay, well, I'm going to just use my own wrist then to do a measurement. So, obviously, I still have a good ways, well, a little ways to go to get this on. So, let me go ahead and string about 3 more beads on, and then we'll reevaluate. I don't know what happened to the ruler. It should be right there. It's like ghosts come into my bead room at night and mess around. Maybe Sadie does it. Probably. Okay. And so we're still not there. Alright, now this is looking longer to me. Let me measure it. Okay, so I'm thinking that this is going to be pretty good, except for all my beads just came out from where my tail. You know what? You can leave that tail, but it is causing me significant issues right now. So I'm trimming it off. I'm just going to trim it off up there at the top. That's going to make my life a heck of a lot easier at this moment, especially since I can't find my ruler. Alright, so another 1.5 inches. I'm going to add 2 more beads on, and then we're going to do the other end of the clasp. Alright, so sorry that took I should have had that figured out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25 beads is what I have on here, 6mm pearls. And again, my wrist is small. It's like normally around 6 inches. So, I mean, the bracelets are normally around 6 inches that I do for my wrist. So, yeah, keep that in mind. You might want to go bigger. Just make sure you measure it around your wrist and see, how you want it to be. Again, I'm adding an extender and a lobster, so it's not going to be, critical. I don't know if I'm going to keep this or sell it, so we'll see. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do is pick up your other crimp, like this. Pick up another bicone, and pick up your ring for your other end of your lobster. Okay. So that's what I've got. A crimp, a bicone, and my other end of the ring. Now I'm just going to loop back through just like I did before, go back through the bicone, back through the crimp, and I'm just going to go through a bead, I guess, since I'm going to be pulling it tight right now. Okay. And then if your tip is, you can grab your ring and just pull, and it should bring it up kind of tight. Okay, now one thing you want to do is just make sure this is not too tight. I mean, you want it snug, but you don't want it so tight that it won't move, that there's no movement, because you're going to have to get in between these beads with your needle and thread. So just keep that in mind. So, make sure that you don't have big, huge gaps, but yet you're going to need a little bit of, wiggle room in there. So do that. Make sure you've got that, and then take your plier and be careful not to crack your bicone and crimp your other end. Okay? So that's what you should have. Now, I'm going to cut this off right here. Tuck it down in that bead, and I'm going to go ahead and add my other crimp bead cover. Whoops. So same thing as before. Whoops. See, this is how it normally goes for me. I normally drop it about 10 times before I get it on there. I'm going to stick it right over your bead and crimp it closed. It just gives it a nice little finished, looks like there's a little silver bead there. Okay, so this is what I've got. Now when I put this on, it will clasp exactly right and is fairly snug on my wrist, okay? And that's how I want it, because I'm going to put an extender chain on here too. So, all right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get ready to put all of our seed beads and stuff on. So you are going to go down below, you're going to take your fire line. Did I say that you needed fire line? You do. You need, I'm using 6-pound fire line in the crystal color. So, I'm sorry, I probably should have said that. Fire line and a needle is important. Okay, so you're going to take your fire line and you're going to go below your little crimp cover. Make sure it's below. If you go above, you're going to have issues. So because you don't want this to show. And you're just going to tie this onto the wire, okay? So I just tied a regular overhand knot. Now I'm going to go back and do like a surgeon's knot. I may do 2 or 3 surgeon's knots because I'm kind of worried about things coming undone all the time. So just pull it tight. And I'm going to do another surgeon's knot. Pull it tight. Okay, and if you're not familiar with a surgeon's knot, what a surgeon's knot is you take like you're going to make a regular overhand knot, but you go through once and then you go through again. And I'm assuming if it's called a surgeon's knot, that's the kind of knot surgeons use when they tie you up after surgery. I don't know, but that's my assumption. So someone tell me if I'm right. I'm sure there's a surgeon or a nurse or somebody out there that can let me know. All right, so now you've got your, I trimmed off the tail, so you've got your fire line tied on to your, oh goodness, Lord help me, tiger tail. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is take your needle and go down through the first 2 beads, okay, just like this. Now, this requires a lot of thread. I do 2 arm spans of fire line. I probably would have done more than that, but I ran out. So, yeah, you want to use a lot of thread on this project. I don't like to rethread. I hate to have to add thread in the middle. Now, if I do, I do, but I hate to. So, I just put a lot on at the beginning and deal with it. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Okay, now we're going to take 3 of our seed beads. Now, I told you these are like cheapo seed beads. They are really, really cheapo seed beads. Actually, I'm going to do 4. They are super cheapo seed beads. So I think these are actually a little bit bigger than what a normal, well, I know they are because I'm looking at them. And they're not very even. So you may have to experiment around with this a little bit. I'm going to do 4, pick up a crystal, and do 4 more. Okay, so this is what I've got on my needle. 4, a crystal, and 4 more. And then I'm going to go back up to the top and go right down through those same 2 pearls. Now, I tied a lot of knots in the top of my fire line, so it's sticking out the end there. If you're smarter than me, you will only tie enough knots to where it will come down into your bead and it won't show. But I didn't do that. Probably end up keeping this bracelet because I don't know that it's going to be cell quality after that. Okay, so here's what I have, and I have too many seed beads because I wasn't sure with these seed beads. So I'm going to go back up through here and pray to God it pulls back out. If not, I'll have to re-thread my needle, but I don't want to have to do that. So let's go back up through there, see if it'll pull out. And it didn't, of course, but maybe. Oh, there we go, it did. All right, so I'm going to take 2 seed beads off of each side. So I'm going to have 3 seed beads of crystal and 3 seed beads. And I'm sorry, this is different for every one of these that you make, unless your beads are the exact same size as the last one you made. So, and they're usually not. Usually the seed beads vary a little bit, you know, whether you're using rondelles, rounds, or bicones, makes it vary a little bit, but you do want this to be tight. So now on my needle, what I have are 3 seed beads of crystal and 3 seed beads. So I'm going to go back up through the top and down through these 2 beads, and this should work, I'm hoping. What it should do is set the little crystal right in the very middle of those 2 beads if I've got the right amounts on. And that's good. Okay, so that's what you should have. And then you're going to do the same thing. Pick up 3 seed beads, 1 crystal, and 3 seed beads. And again, you're going to go back up through the top, down through those 2 beads, and out the bottom. Pull all your thread. I've got a ton of it. And then you'll have to situate these like they're supposed to go. Now when we get further down in the bracelet, they'll lay correctly, and that's what you should have. Okay? You shouldn't have a big knot there like I do, but everything else you should have. All right. So now what we're going to do, we're coming out of the second bead. We're going to go down 1 more bead. Don't go down 2 more, just 1. And it gets a little tough to get in between these beads. That's why I said make sure that you don't make your beads on your base too tight, because then you're going to really have issues. Okay. Alright, so now we're coming out of this bead, and what we're going to do, because we want these to overlap, if you can see on here how they overlap, so we're going to go back up through these 2 beads, okay, the one you just came out of and the one right above it. So pick up 3 crystal and 3, just like that. And then you're going to go back down through the one right above where you're coming out and the bead that you're coming out. And like I said, this can get a little tough. It's best to use a thinner beading needle and be very careful of your fingers, because you can like poke yourself. I've done that many times. Okay, and just pull it through. And this one should lay right on top of the one below it. Okay, pick up 3. Oops, I got 4. Pick up a crystal. And pick up 3. And these gorgeous bicones, Mia, a subscriber on my channel, sent me as a gift, and I want to say thank you again to her for the incredible box of beads that she sent. I mean, I'm just totally amazed. And this is not wanting to come out, but oh, see, I went down. It gets a little fiddly when you get in here trying to get the needle through to come out the right bead. And it's easier if you have a lot of space between your bracelet, but you don't want a whole lot of space between them or it's going to look weird, you know, but it does get kind of tough to get these out here. So let me just mess with it until I can get it through the bead that it needs to come out of. It's been really difficult. Okay, come on. There we go. Goodness gracious, that one was really troublesome. Okay, so you head right down through here. Lay these right. Okay, and that's what you should have. These turn out so pretty. I think these, and they look like that you spent like a ton of time on them, but they're really not that time consuming. Okay, so you're coming out of this one. Go down through one more. Now, one thing you do want to be sure of when you're making this bracelet is that you always, like, don't get it flipped over to this side accidentally, and you want to make sure you keep it on this same side so these all lay right like they should on top of each other. If you get it switched, you're going to end up with it looking weird. Okay, so pick up 3 seed beads. Now my needle is bent. 1 crystal and 3 more seed beads. Okay, so you're coming out of this one right here. You're going to go back up 1 bead and go through the bead above where your thread's coming out and the bead where your thread's coming out. And if you're lucky, it will just go through, but there we go. Whoops, I'm so sorry. I knew I would do that at some point. I hit the camera. Alright, and just pull it on through. And see, it just lays right on top of the previous one. So you pick up 3 more. 2, 3. Crystal. 1. 1. Now my needle is bent and they don't want to stay on there. 2, 3. Did I get 3 on the beginning or did I just get 2? Nope, I just got 2. Sorry guys. 3. Crystal. I'm still not the best at filming tutorials. I'm not perfect, so you see all the bloopers. Okay, so 3 and 3. And then go back down through the one above and the one your thread is coming out of. Okay. Okay, so we have come all the way down through our bracelet, and we are at the very last. I've already put one side on this last one, and I'm going to do the other side just in case you had any questions. So you do it exactly the same. You pick up 3 seed beads, your crystal, and 3 seed beads, just like that, just like normal. And you do it exactly like you've done the whole rest of the bracelet. And you come out your very bottom bead here. Okay, now you're coming out before the crimp bead. Whoops, sorry guys. You're coming out before the crimp bead, and you want to make sure that you're coming out before the crimp bead. Well, there you would have to. There's no way you could even go through the crimp bead if you wanted to, so never mind. But anyway, okay, so I've got these crossed. Let's uncross them. Whoops. How did I get these crossed? Okay, there we go. Alright, so here's what you've got. Your entire bracelet. It is so pretty. I love these colors together, and I want to say again, thank you to Mia for the bicones. She sent those to me. They're already being put to good use. And I ordered the pearls on Budget Bead Box. She's got gorgeous pearls and seed beads as well. So, okay, so now we are down to the very, very last. So what we've got is we've got our thread coming out, the last pearl before our crimp bead. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down this side and out the bicone right there. Okay. And I'm going to tie a knot right here. I'm going to do one surgeon's knot. And the reason I'm doing this right here is because it will pull through the next seed bead in a minute when I get done. Okay, but be very careful now. You want to make sure that it's right below the bicone and that you pull it really tight. Okay, just like that. And then go down through your next 3 seed beads. Okay, now we're going to go back up through this pearl and the next pearl, just like we've done through the whole bracelet. If I can get it to happen. I have poked myself a million times today doing this. Okay, there we go. Just like that. Okay. Pull tight. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to go down through these 3 seed beads and the bicone. And this time I'm going to go down through the other 3 seed beads as well. So you just go down through that whole little section right there. Okay, and right here I'm going to tie a knot. Just right where I am, where I came out, below that bottom seed bead. And we'll do one surgeon's knot. Pull it very tight. Now, I always like to go down through another bead, so I'm actually just going to go down through this next pearl, or next few pearls actually. Just, I'm going to go down through a couple, if I can get my needle to do it. I may not be able to. It's really tight right now where I've gone through so many. Okay, let me see if I can get it just to go through this one. And I keep, like, shoving the needle through and poking my fingers, which hurts so bad. Oh my goodness. Okay, I may not be able to get it through this pearl. I was hoping. Just go down through several of them if I can. I just don't like to finish to pull the knot out, or to cut the thread right beside where I made the knot. Alright, there. Whew, got it down through there. I'm actually going to take the pliers and pull it. There we go. And trim that off. Okay, and there is your bracelet. Now, I am going to add an extender and just flex it around a little bit, wiggle it, and just kind of loosen it up to where it's, yeah, it'll bend a little, and it's almost like a bangle, but I like to, okay, flex it around a little. Okay, then I'm just going to take a seed bead, a crystal, a pearl, and another seed bead. Like that on my little dangle. Actually, it would look better if I did another crystal and then another seed bead just to make it even. Alright, so yeah, like this. Okay. And then I'm going to make a wrap loop with this because it's a really thin wire. So I'm going to go ahead with my chain and open my link on my chain here. Gosh, I hope this chain may not open. This may be soldered. No, it's not. Okay, so I'm opening my link on my chain, and I'm just going to put my chain on the jump ring. On this, not jump ring, but the little ring on the ring end of the lobster, and close that back up. So there's what that is right there. So that's your little extender. And then I'm going to make a wrapped loop here. So you do need some chain nose pliers, or some round nose pliers for this. You bend it over, 90-degree angle. Take this, bend it back up, flip your plier up, go underneath. Now you need to insert your chain before you wrap it. So go ahead and stick your chain up in there. So it'll be like that. You got your little loop with your chain on there. Grab it with your pliers, just like this. And I just wrap this with my fingers because it's really thin. I just don't want it to come undone, so I'm making a wrap loop here. And this is so thin you can just do it with your fingers if you're using. These head pins are actually on Budget Bead Box's site. They are really awesome for making wrap loops. And they have the little ball at one end, so they're decorative. So trim that off. See? Little ball on that end, so they're decorative. But I love them. They're really, really, really great little head pins. And I'm tucking it in to make sure there's no little burr sticking out. There is a burr sticking out. Come on. It's not wanting to... let me just trim it off here. These wire cutters are so bad. I need new ones. I've used these to cut memory wire and everything, and they're like really dull. Okay. There we go. Alright, so there you have your beautiful bracelet. And it's got an extender chain on it, so you know, somebody can adjust it to however they want it to be, and they've got your beautiful little bead dangle. So that is flat spiral stitch. You can do this with pretty much any beads. You just have to adjust the amount of beads that you put on your sides. You do not have to string the tiger tail in the middle. That's how I have a friend who beads, and she taught me how to do it that way. I've actually not normally done it that way, but I like it better because it makes this more like a bangle. It makes it a little stiffer and just gives it a little more substance, and it allows you to add a lobster, or it just makes your adding your clasp a little bit easier and gives you some variety there. So yeah, this is a great little bracelet. It works up quick. It's fairly simple if you're new at beading. You know, it's a fairly simple stitch to learn, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video. You can buy a lot of these products at Budget Bead Box, and again, thank you, Mia, so much for the bicones and the wonderful box of beading supplies. I am just still overwhelmed, but as you can see, the bicones are already being used, and they're going to all be put to good use. So again, thank you so much. So thanks to everybody for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!